Good morning, everybody. Today is August 24th, right? 2021. So let us start our second week today. So everybody, you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so before we start, just let me show you some update. So I have uploaded course syllabus of version 2.0. There is one significant change in version 2 of the syllabus. One thing is that so please download the latest copy and you should see syllabus version 2.0. So let me tell you what are the changes I made here. Oops, okay, so here is the change is that, so in case as we discussed that if you miss test 1 and test 2 or test 2, then that will be compensated by your final exam with a 20% penalty. But if you miss your final exam under any of these above circumstance, okay, so under any reason if you miss the final exam, then your final exam will be compensated okay, by considering all of your other achieved course, like how did you do in your assignments, quizzes, and test 1 and test 2 with a 30% penalty. So that means I discourage not to miss the final exam. Okay. If you do well in test 1 and test 2 and quizzes and assignments, so but if you miss the final exam, but then you will lose at least one letter grade. You cannot get an A. You hardly can get a B or you may get a C. So please do not miss the final exam, okay? That is the major change I have made. And so now, if we go to our course schedule, so this is our week 2nd, so we will discuss object-oriented programming and C++. So is there anybody that you already know C++ programming? How many of you?
I know a little.
Yeah. If you took our 1321 course here, you should be familiar with C++, that we wrote some codes in C++. Okay, I added this file, key differences between C++, C#, and Java. Okay, please download this file and let us open it. So as you know, C++ is one of the older programming language that implements object-oriented programming. Actually, I learned object-oriented programming in C++ in mid 90s, during 95, 96, that time. I learned object-oriented programming with C++. And then I learned Java. When I learned Java, then Java seems to be more friendly than C++. Then I learned C# also. You will see around 20% coding syntaxes are same or identical across these languages, especially in C++ and C#. There are more similarities between C++ and C#. But Java is a little bit different. So you will see the differences I will discuss. And then here are the major differences. Okay, so let me recap these differences. The first one is the structure of the main method, then output statement, input statement, and some keywords, and constant declaration, and then switch case, and then class declaration is also different. Okay, we will come with a live program. So you know that a C++ program, it starts with int. This is a return type as main method. Okay, you may have some parameters here or arguments in the main method or not. If you use command line program, then you need to have parameters over here. Command line means using terminal. If you run program and then if you provide any variable, any value to that method, then you need argument over here. Otherwise, for simple program, that's good. This is fine. And Java program, you see that it starts with class, and then in C# it starts with a class. So C++ program, it can be non-object oriented program. I mean, non-object oriented program means there is no class. It's simple C++ program, because you know C is a subset of C++. So if you have a like program without any class, that we say that this is a non-object oriented program. In C++ it is possible, but in Java and C# we cannot have a program without a class. So Java and C# these are object oriented programming. Okay. And we will see that in C++ we will start with a class today, and then we will be familiar with object oriented C++. And then the second difference is the output statement, right? We use cout in C++, but in Java we use system.out.println. And in C# we use console.writeLine method, right? So this is a method and this is the method, but this is cout is an output stream. So this is the first difference between C++ and Java and C#. Cout, and then in Java we use println. Ln is for new line, and line in C# for new line. So that means here at the end we use endl, in line. And the input statement is different. In C++ we use cin, that input stream, with the variable name. But cin does not take any space, but if you need to take any space, then we use cn. We use this method, getLine method. So with cin and then variable name, then it takes space, any character with space. And you are familiar with Java and C# that we use scanner class for Java, and in C# we use readline method. So there are some different keywords in C++ and then Java and C#. In C++ we use bool keywords like C#, but in Java we use Boolean. The same purpose is same, to declare a binary variable or Boolean variable that takes either true or false value. Okay. And then another difference is that constant declaration. So in pseudocode format, we use constant keyword like constant real. This is the constant example. But in C# and Java, we use and C++, we use different method. In C#, C++, we use const keyword. We use const keyword, and what we can use define preprocessor. For instance, x5. We see that we do not use equal sign over here. The difference between using define and const is that when you use const, then we use equal sign, then const int pi. Okay, 3.14. I could use maybe double or float over here. Then we do not use equal sign over here. So the constant is used to use a value that cannot be changed while during program execution time. When a program is running, you cannot change the value of the constant identifier. Okay. Same thing, we will see that in some methods we will use constant const in C++. The purpose of those methods will be just to display an object state or object value, but that cannot be used to change the object state. You know the object, a class type variable is called an object, right? And class is used a different data type. In Java, we use static final int type. This is constant declaration, and this is in C#. C# is easier, simple. Okay. And then there is some differences across switch case statement. Okay, C++ allows to have missing break statement, and that is also true for Java. That allows to have some missing break statement, but C# does not allow to have any missing break statement. So these are the basic differences between C++, Java, and C#. So if you are coming from Java or C# language, then you need to keep this in mind, okay? And then better please download this file, okay, and save it in your folder. I added it in the start here, please. Okay. Now, one thing is that quiz 0 is due this week, so I uploaded quiz 0. Okay, some people take it already, has started it. So this is quiz 0. Please take it, okay?
What is quiz 0 over?
Sorry?
What does quiz 0 oh, never mind, I see. My bad.
It covers syllabus and our policies.
Got it. Thank you.
Is anyone here that has taken quiz 0?
Yes.
So it is just okay. So it is just, you will take maybe 30 minutes time, but you can take it again and again. So I put it unlimited time, and the purpose is that to enforce you to read the syllabus, okay, and then understand my communication policy, and so that you follow my communication policy and you understand the syllabus, especially for missing tests, missing quizzes, missing assignment, late assignments. Okay, and until that there is nothing due this weekend, so then next weekend will be quizzes, or quiz 1 and assignment 1 next week. So in a week I will upload quiz 1 and assignment 1. So if you see some quiz and assignments in the existing cell, you don't need to do this, okay? Do this because I copied this cell from other professor. So I will upload my own quiz and my own assignments. I will modify some of this, okay? But let us cover something. We have not started our study yet. So hopefully we will start today soon. Okay. So before we proceed, has anyone any question?
Not me.
That's good. Give me 1 second. Let me get a water bottle. 1 second.
Hey, Professor. Professor?
Okay, so is there anybody that you collected your book, you purchased the book?
Yeah, I bought it, but I'm waiting on it to get delivered this week.
Okay, that's good. We have not anything due this week, but meanwhile you can use our PDF copy, right? The book.
Yes.
Okay. The chapter today we will start with chapter chapter 2. Okay. So chapter 2 is called about abstract data types and C++ classes. So we are familiar with data type, right? So whenever we declare, we use a variable. Okay, we need to declare in C++ and Java and C# languages. We need to declare the variable types first. For instance, type means what type of data we are going to use, right? So for instance, if we say I will use my name, address, or email address, so then this infers that my data will be alphanumerical. I can have some alphabet characters. I can have some numbers, including it, right? So if I consider that, I will be using a phone number. So that all of the numbers are numeric, right? And if I think that I will be using my CGPA or GPA, for instance 4.0 or 3.5, something like. So then that has the decimal with decimal point, decimal value, right? So based on the data, there are some data types. We call in primitive data types. There are 8 primitive data types, right? Short, byte, short, int, long. These 4 are used for whole numbers. Most of the time we use int type for a whole number. Okay, for instance, serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something. Okay, and double and float are used to hold decimal point. Float is used for small numbers and double is used for large numbers. Okay, and then bool is used for Boolean. If you declare binary variable, that takes only true or false value. Okay, and then we have other data types like string. That is a built-in data type. Those are not called primitive data types. So let me go C++ data types. If we go search in Google C++ data types, hopefully you will get okay. So this chart looks good. So Boolean type, it takes is byte size in byte is 1 byte, and interpretation is Boolean, and then it takes true or false value. You said the character type unsigned character, then it says 0 to 220, 225, 255. These are for character ASCII code. Okay, and then okay, there is a mistake over here. L should be L in lowercase. Okay. Let me go to other page. This should be simple. This should be simple one. Okay. I think this should be a good one. So these are the built-in data types. Okay. Integer, floating point, character, and Boolean. So there are 8 primitive data types among these 4. Okay. There are 4 integer types, 4 types for integer numbers, and 2 types for floating, float and double, and then one is character and another is Boolean. So these are this chart is good, I think. Okay. It's short integer, it takes 2 byte memory size. Okay, and this is the value variable range, -3 to 768 to 0 to +3 to 767. So including 0 is here. Okay, so these are the range. So if you want to declare a normal type variable, like frequently we use int variable, then we use, it takes 4 bytes. It can be any value between these, but when we assign value, we do not use comma. Okay, we do not use comma sign. We can use positive or negative sign, but we cannot use comma. Okay, I think one thing is missing over here. Character type is missing here. Character and Boolean types are missing here. Okay, but maybe I can give you, this is a good website. I can give you a link so you can follow this. Okay, so now we come back to our book. So these data types are called abstract data types. Abstract means whenever we need to declare a variable of integer type, we need to use a variable of integer type. We just declare a variable like int. Okay, we don't know, but we do not need to know what is going inside, how it takes memory space. Okay, in which position it is taking in memory. We can find it out, but it's not our headache. Okay, so just by declaring int or double or bool, these are called abstract because we do not know inside of this how it is going. The compiler knows it. Okay, the compiler and operating system both together work with this, so it is not our headache. So So this is why we call these are abstract data type. That means we see it only in very high level view. Okay, this is why we call it abstract. Okay. Now, so as we see that there are 8 primitives. So these are the built-in data types. So from built-in this data type, we can build do two things. We can derive, we can use another data types like function, array pointer. These are called derived data types. But in addition to these, we can create our own data type. Okay, that is called class, structure, or enum in C++. Enum is used for some special purposes or for very few purposes, and structure also is used in limited time. So most of the time we will use class. So a class is a user-defined data type. Okay, so what is a class? A class is a user-defined data type. So now we will see how do we declare a class. So you see that this program, this small program, it does not have any class. So this is non-object oriented program, but it has like short, int, long. Okay, so these are the keywords in combination of short and int. So this is declared a short integer type variable, and this is integer type variable, and diameter is long type variable. You see that if we declare a long type variable, so long, then we see that how large value we can take it. Any number between these. And then if you say long int, then you see very large number, right? I don't know, it will be trillion or zillion numbers, very large number. Okay. And whenever we say unsigned means positive. Okay, unsigned means positive. Sign is the plus sign. Okay, when there is no sign, then we understand that this is a positive number, right? Before, if writing a number, if we give a positive sign, that means the number is positive, right? But for most of the time we skip this positive sign. That if we skip it, positive sign, then we know that this is a regular number. This is a positive number. 2, 4, these are positive number, right? But if the number is negative, then we must use this one, right? We must use this negative sign first. So this is why whenever you say unsigned, that means it is positive, always positive. Okay, so unsigned number are always positive numbers. And when we declare use a value, actually put a value, then we do not use the comma sign. Okay. So these are called abstract data types, short, int, long, because we don't know what is happening inside. We just declare a variable, we assign its value, and then we use it. Right? So that inside, these variables are coded with binary number. Okay, and then these variables are stored in computer memory using 01, 01, 01 in binary number format. But we do not know yet what is going inside. Okay, so like similarly float and double types, these are also primitive data type, and this is abstract data type. Similarly, we have character type, so we use char to declare a character variable. We don't know inside how these variables are stored inside. Actually, whenever we type in a with a single quote for character literal actual character value, then we don't know how this value a is storing inside. Actually, a is converted into binary code. It's binary value 65, the equivalent to 65 in ASCII code, and that is stored in our computer memory with 01, 01, 01. Okay, so this is why I see the per character type we have the range 0 to 255. That means the ASCII code value are over there. So in a nutshell, what I'm telling you there, these are the primitive data types, and this is the abstract data type. because we do not know inside. Whenever we declare a variable, we don't know, and we do not need to know. Okay, now, so these primitive data types are not sufficient yet to solve our problem. So like the way that we in modern application or programs are developed. So this is why we need to declare our own data type that we declare in class through class. Okay, so a class is a user defined data types. Okay, so that takes two things. So I like you to read the book. Okay, so the book has more detail, so I'm telling you the summary. Okay, okay, so this is a class. Okay, the class is declared with a class keyword, and throttle is class name. It starts with a curly brace and it ends with a curly brace, and in C++ it ends with an additional semicolon. It needs a semicolon. Okay, and this is the public modifier because all these are the methods. So how do we know that this is a method? We see this is a parenthesis. So this is a method, this is a method, and some methods if we have the after parenthesis, this is return type, it does not return any value. This is void, and it returns a double value, and we see that we use a constant, const. I will discuss this soon more. So this constant means this method only return a value, it cannot change its flow, object's flow, total flow, it cannot change it, just it can tell us what is inside. Okay, and then it has a variable called position. This is integer type variable. Okay, so this is a class. So a class contains two things, some variables and some functions or methods. So the functions in a class are called methods in general, or member function or methods, and the variable in a class are called class variables or member variables. So you can put in any order. We could put the variable at the top or within curly brace, and then method you could declare later. So the order is not a matter. Okay, the matter is that it starts with the curly brace, it ends with the curly brace and semicolon. So this is a class. So total is a class. We are declaring another class. So a class, what is a class? A class is a user-defined data type that contains two things. What are the elements? Class elements, some variables. Okay, it can have 0 to any number of variables, and it should have at least one method. Okay, this is the class. So has anyone any question about class? What is a class? If I ask you what is a class, so the answer is a class is a user-defined data type. What does a class contain? A class contains two things, some variables and some functions. The functions in a class are called method in general. Okay, so whenever we declare a class, that we are declaring a type, total type, throttle type. Okay, throttle type we are declaring. Then we can use any number of variable. We can declare any number of variable. For instance, we are declaring variable position is an integer variable, right? But whenever we declare a variable or type total, then we call that variable as a class. That means, sorry, an object. Whenever our type is a class, then variable is, we do not call that variable, we call that an object. Okay, so now you will understand what is a class.
Yes.
Okay. Now we will see that we will declare a class, and this class is the declaration. Now what do we need to do? We need to use this variable, and we need to complete this decoration. So this is just is called function prototype. We don't know how the shard of method works, or how the shift method works. We need to declare this. Okay. We need to declare this, and the rest of this chapter, it has mostly the statements how this declaration works. So they give us step by step, and this is a kind of output. Okay, so let us go to a live program now. So in this course, we record that you will be using CodeLite to write Java C++ program, and we have instructions in the syllabus how to write, how to install CodeLite, and but if you face any issue, please ask the GTA. He will help you, especially if you are using Mac. Then Mac has a different setup, and then some people have different issues. So please work with the GTA. Okay, but in this class, for short time, we will be using Replit. Sometime I will be using Replit until we all of us we install our CodeLite first. So I'm using Mac. I'm also having trouble with CodeLite setup. So for instance, if we so in Replit, we click in hello, like click in plus sign over here, right? So then select the language C++, and if we say hello world, example maybe 5.5 Fall21 CS3305 so very simple. I give a name, okay, and then this is the very simple C++ program. In Replit it comes up with like this format. If I click on the run button, I will see the output here. Okay, and this is okay. So return type, so namely we should have return 0, should have return 0 or return 1. Okay, return 0, that means it returns to the operating system silently. And sometimes we see that we need to use std, so instead of std colon, so instead of using this, sometimes I like to using namespace is a standard library in C++. Okay, that is used. So if you use namespace std, that means you are using standard library. Okay, that has almost all operation like this operation. How does it works? It is defined in standard namespace, that library. And for input output operation, we need to use iostream file, class library file. So it will work like this, same thing. Okay, so this is a simple C++ program, okay, in Replit. So now let us go to write this program, complete this program in C++. So in order to complete it, you see that you have to read the book, and then you have to, this is the startup. Okay? So in order to save my time, I save this one. So this is my class. This is my class name. You see that this is my class name, class throttle. It start here, with the curly brace. I could get the curly brace over here. It starts over here and it ends in line number 23 with the ending semicolon. C++ needs this semicolon. Okay, and it has this position variable, and I added 2 more variables and another variable top position. I will discuss why did I use this, and these are the 2 methods I added. Okay, we'll discuss this one. And this is the member functions. Okay, start off, shift, flow, and is one. So here, for now, forget about this. These two, I can move these two later. Okay. So this is the start of this method. It says this is the just prototype. This is the declaration start of method. The semicolon says is end. Okay, this declaration. But here outside the class, we are giving it full declaration. How does it work? So here, if you go the declaration outside, what do you need to do? You need to use the same thing. In addition, the class name and then colon. That means this shift out this method is declared within this class. Because you may have another class, especially in the live, whenever we'll see that when we will use header file, we may have multiple classes and we may have same methods named in multiple classes. So then this is the this says that this start of method is declared within this class. And whatever it says, like it says position equal to 0. And similarly, the shift method, the declaration is over here, prototype is over here, and declaration is here. So these are the comment line, right? You do not need to write the comment. You can skip the comment. And how does it work? So how does it work? So like this is the plus, the class equal to, that means position equal to position plus amount. Okay, so if position less than 0, then position equal to 0. If else shift, how does it shift? It goes 6 position, 6 maybe unit. Okay, so similarly I have this turtle, flow, and then this is one method. Okay, this is the declaration complete. Okay, and I have 2 other methods. It is called constructors. So a class, sometimes called, if a class contains a method that has exactly same name of its class name, then that is called a constructor. A constructor is a method that is used to construct an object of a class. We'll soon see how did we do declare an object. Okay, so the class name and the method is exactly same name. How do we know that this is a method? It has a parenthesis. And a class can have multiple methods with same name, but that must be different in terms of their number of parameters or type of parameters. That is called method overloading. A method with multiple formats, same method. Okay, so here this is the turtle. This is called default constructor. It is called default. Default constructor, and this is called argumented constructor. I have one argument. I may have another constructor with another argument or different argument. Okay, so this is the turtle, and then at the end we declare the turtle. So one thing is that a constructor cannot have a return type, even it cannot have void. You see that all other methods have a return type. If there is no return, then void. If a method does not return, then we must write void. But for the constructor, we cannot have any return type. Even void we cannot have. Okay. So this is until this one. So each of these, you see that if I click over here, I will see that this is my starting and ending. So for this one, starting, ending. This one, starting, ending. This one, starting, ending. So this is const. It means that this method, it just return a value, but it does not change a value. Okay, it cannot change a value. So for instance, here is one, this method returns flow greater or equal to 0. That means if flow, this flow method, you see that flow method, it returns an integer number, a double number, right? If there is greater than 0, then it returns a true value. Otherwise, it returns a false value. We could use something like this way. If flow greater than 0, like this, return true, else return false. We could write like this way. Okay, we could write like this way. Instead of this, like 4 lines, this is a single. It works. Okay, so either this or this, it will work. Same thing. Okay, and one more thing that we say that, so if we want to declare, if our method is small enough, then we can declare it within the class. So what is this one for this shut off, right? We could say here. We could say it here. We could say it here. So if we declare here, I'm sorry, let me do one. So if we declare within here, so then we do not need the scope operators. You see that we do not need this because it's double declaration. I can say we can take up this. Same thing. If it's small enough, a function is small enough, then we can declare inside. It's called inline declaration. Or if it is not large, small enough, if it is large, then we should, and we usually declare outside. If we declare outside, then we need to use this called scope operator. We need to use class name and then method. So similarly, what did we do? So either way you can declare. Okay. So then there is up to here. So class declaration is start in here, in line number 7. It ends in line number 29. And then these are the other lines, other statements for our method completion, method declaration. Up to this, we are done with class declaration. Now we will use the class in order to create an instance of the class. So this is my throttle. This is class name. And this is object name. It's called sample. Okay, or we can say any number. We can say O1, O2, or we can say T1, T2, something like this, T3. Any number of objects we can declare. So this is class name and this is object name. And this is int, and then this is built-in type, right? And this is our variable name. And this is class type, class name, and this is, we can say the variable, we can say this variable, but we have, it is a special name, right? It is called object. Now, if we have object, then we use dot operator. For instance, we say sample dot. We say start of this method. We're calling the start of method of sample object, for sample object. This dot means of or for. We are calling start of method for the sample object, and we are calling ship method, or then we are providing input, whatever input we are taking over here, and then we are sending that input value to the ship method. Okay, and then it has some other codes, and this is the end of this main method. So in the main method, within main method, we will use the class to declare object. So at this point, has anyone any question? Yeah, at this point, I like everyone to speak up. Okay. Okay, one more thing I was planning to assign to make, maybe if I do it, then I will do it by this week. Okay, I may assign 5% point for class attendance and participation that I have for face-to-face class. Okay, I will assign 5% point. If I assign 5% point for class attendance and participation, then assignments will be 20%, and then 5% will be class attendance and participation. So that means you cannot just log into your lecture and then you go off. Okay, you have to participate in this.
How will you track participation?
We will use archive. So just last night we got approval to use that. I have multiple ways. I can take a screenshot quickly. I will take a screenshot quickly here, like for instance, I will take a screenshot. Okay, then I will see that today how many participants are there. I will say your name over here, right? Okay. So then I will keep this.
That shows 9 people.
Let me see how many people. Yes, 23. I will take. I will find it. Okay, you see the download attendance list. Let me download it. I can download that. I will keep some download, or I will sometimes randomly take the attendance and I will assign some points. Maybe I will be assigned 5% point for the class participation. Okay. So this is the program. I'm giving you the link of this program. So if you please practice this program. Okay, so click on this program and create an account in Replit and then fork it. Just if you open the program, just save it. Forking means saving it in your account. Okay, so this is a simple program like written in C++. Okay, and this is a total class, which is that all in all file, all in on a single file, all of this class in a single file. But usually when we declare when we develop an application, we do not put all of the codes inside a single program. What usually we do, we declare a header file. So this is a header file. We declare like this header file. In the header file, you see that if define and If not defined, then we will use this and then define. Okay, and then it's end if. Let me show you. So this is our class. You see that we are using namespace. We are creating our own namespace, like main. So this is the program name. This is from the book. Okay, I copied and paste the remaining chapter. The remaining discussion is about how to, for instance, from here. This is the sample output. So let us see that our program gives this kind of sample output. Let me show this, the previous one first. The previous one, if we run this program, and it is asking to give an input 3, and then it is giving us same output, right? The flow is same thing here. This is the output. How to okay. We have our total class, and we put inline declaration sometime. Inline declaration definition, we're putting all inside here. But if we do not want to put inline declaration, we could put outside here. We can put this outside. So the for instance, we could follow the other style here. We could follow this other style over here, this style. And if we wanted to put the declaration outside, it's both ways fine. Okay. So this is the thing that we put in a header file name. We name this throttle.h. In add a new file by clicking over here. So add file, and then click on that file. Then you are asked to give the name of the file, whatever name you want to give. Okay. So then I gave the name throttle.h, and then we are putting this code. This is called header file code. Okay. And then this is our main method, main class, another file. Okay, main.cpp file. Okay, so here in this main.cpp file, since I have to use IOStream input output, so this is my main method, my main method. Since I need to use cout and scene, so this is why I use include IOStream. And for assert, this is an assert method that provides true or false. It is used for unit testing. You may have the term unit testing if you take software engineering course. Then the assert method somewhere it says do I have assert? You see assert. Assert means it ensures that size is greater than 0. Okay, because for a throttle or any object, for this kind of object, size cannot be negative number. Okay, this is why we need to use assert over here. And then whatever you see that we are using standard namespace standard because I'm using cout. This is why. Otherwise, if I do not use like this one using namespace standard, so then in that case I need to use cout : like this. Since I do have already about that, so it is showing here. It should not be. Okay, and you see that I'm using namespace main service 2a. What is that one? I have included that throttle, that header file, and within this header file, I have this header file. I have this namespace. I'm calling this namespace. That means then I will be able to use this throttle class. So here, that means this throttle class will be here. So unless, and then the other thing, this is the declaration of class, the constructor. Okay. And this is the declaration of shift method. Okay, it's a different kind of declaration. Okay, you could have like this kind of, you see that the shift method is not declared here, right? So somehow it needs to be declared, it needs to be complete. So the walk method, start of method is completed here, right? But the shift method is not completed here. So shift method needs to be completed somewhere where you are going to use this. So the shift method is need to be completed here. So you see that this is the end of this. So this namespace, okay, I'm redefining this namespace, or you could give this code inside over there. That's okay. So then this is the main method, and in the same code, total, sample, then user input, all the previous code over here. Okay, and the return is exit success. This is the built-in variable, or we could say return 0 or something. Okay, so if you run this program, and then if you get 3, okay, so I'm getting this output. So because according to declaration of this. Okay, so now what I like you, I'm sharing this code with you. Okay, also please copy this program in your account, save it in your account, and play with this program. Okay, so that what you want to do, so you can move these tabs. Okay, you can try to move these tabs in other place, like for instance, let me show you if I can do it quickly for you. So here is one. I do not need this one. Let me keep it here, but I disable this code. That means there is nothing over here. Okay, so then I can run this program and it will give me same thing. Okay, so that here I can clean up actually my program over here. So this is, I do not have these statements, this declaration over here. So this will be clean, right? Small program, right? So that I'm using namespace main service 2_a, and then because then I will get the entire code, whatever the namespace I have over here, I will get all of the things over here. So then here, from up here, and it is ending with that line. So I will have all of this. Okay, the two things you see that throttle class, this is our constructor, is defined outside of the class. So if you declare outside of the class, then you need to use this thing. This is a constructor, but because it does not have a return type or return statements. But these are the other method. This is a method, member method. A function in a class is called a method. Okay. So then I like you to practice this program, okay? 2 programs, and then read this chapter. Read this chapter, okay? Use this chapter. So read this chapter, and then in our next lecture, we will go through, if we go to D12, your section is section 2 or 3? Are you in
3,
section
I
3, right?
believe.
Section 3.
Okay, section 3, sorry. Section 2 is complete one line. So same thing, this lecture video will serve for section 2 and section 3. Okay, so you see that in our next lecture, we will go through this introduction to OOP, this chapter 2. This is the PDF file. Okay, so download this PDF file. You can download it. Chapter 2. I'm sorry. So it has further discussion about object-oriented programming, and then whatever I discussed so far in this lecture. And then in our next lecture, we will go through this PowerPoint slide, and based on this slide and then our discussion, you will have quiz 1 and then assignment 1. Okay. So please start reading the book and then slides, and keep continuous study. Okay, so a little bit every day, do not keep behind, and then we will discuss this. Okay, so actually I discussed all of the things, that how do we declare a namespace and use a namespace. So better if you go to my this lectures, these two, these programs and this program, and compare these 2 programs, then you will understand the difference. How do we write C++ program with the header file differently? But in this program, there is no header file because everything included, embedded, class is embedded. But here in this program, I have a header file because class declaration is in the header file, but in the main file, we are just using the namespace. Whatever namespace you like, you can give any name over here, like namespace. Okay. So whatever namespace you give, you can use that namespace. Use that namespace here. So then we discuss how to create our own namespace. Okay. On namespace, that in our own stuffs, and then we use this. Okay. Has anyone any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So please study, and then from next week I will keep track of attendance and your participation. So there we will have some points, some credit to be an active participant in this course. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and you have a good day.